Now, I know I've talked about this numerous times, but, now that we're, surprisingly heading into the 35th anniversary, that's right, 35th anniversary since Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers debuted, it's just, to me that when I think about this, it just seems so obvious that Disney was heading in this direction. I believe seriously they had it set in stone or getting ready to set it in stone, but they just, couldn't pull the trigger. And that, of course, is a Dale and Gadget relationship. Now, I know some people may say, well, you don't know that. You don't know if they were going to plan that. True, but even as a kid growing up watching that show at 10 years old and going on basically 11, 12, 13, 15, if you will, depending on how long the show was on the Disney afternoon before it went to regular syndication and then back to Disney. It's not hard to really piece a lot of the pieces of the puzzle together, or at least piece a lot of the clues and hints and Easter eggs together, and come to the conclusion that yeah, Disney was going to, pull the trigger on the Dale and Gadget relationship. It just seems so freaking obvious that was the plan. I mean, you look at all the moments and you compare them to the Chip and Gadget moments, and it's like Dale and Gadget wins by a long shot. They win by a long shot, like 70% to 30% they win. And the only reason we ever got, and I appreciate that Disney did this, the only reason we ever got, a character like Tammy in one of the first episodes, Adventures in Squirrel Setting, being interested in Chip. The only reason we had Sparky be interested in Gadget in the episode, Does Parlouv Ring a Bell? And the only reason we had Foxglove, one of the more popular ships, for the Rescue Rangers outside of the team and becoming semi-part of the team to happen in good times, bad times. Hey, look, I appreciate all of that occurring because what that did is that basically made a lot of fans subvert their expectations. It made us subvert our expectations. And, it made us curious as to perhaps these new characters being the love interest for the three that we wanted to see get together in some way. Chip with Gadget, Dale with Gadget, or, just continue the whole try to win her heart competition kind of friendly rivalry between Chip and Dale for Gadget's affections. It subverted our expectations because, it made us now wonder, was this the direction they were going to go in? And you look at, let's say, the Boom Studio comics and what Ian Brill did there with Dale and Foxglove, and yeah, it kind of makes you wonder if maybe that was going to be the case. Maybe that was the direction they were going to go in. But I think, honestly, again, it was more of a plan. It was more of a way to kind of, get us off the trail, kind of, even as kids, kind of keep our kind of direct our suspicions elsewhere and such. But when we really think about it, as we have gotten older and everything, and we look back and we look at all the clues and everything, especially since you can watch Rescue Rangers on Disney Plus or via Blu-ray, when you watch some of these episodes, out of the series, out of, all 65, you are going to see, like I said, more moments between Dale and Gadget compared to Chip and Gadget. I mean, you look at the first episode, Carpet Snaggers. Not Carpet Snaggers, but Catteries Not Included, which I think was the initial first episode. You look at that one, and of course that's because it got Gadget in the mood, and Dale took an opportunity, and dang, did you not see how close Dale was to kissing her? Come on, seriously. Disney didn't have to put that in there, but they did. Carpet Snaggers, another example. Dale beside himself, even though the moment where she was kind of flirting with him a little bit, not knowing that Dale was a false Dale and actually a shape-shifting alien in disguise and such, you had that moment, and then her hugging him at the end. It's like, come on, seriously. He's like, come on, seriously. Even the earlier episodes, the Disney Channel era first season episodes, pretty much were giving all that away. giving away the fact that, oh, Dale's going to end up with Gadget. End of story. And if that's not enough, you take a look at the syndicated Disney Afternoon episodes. You know, Dirty Rotten Diapers. Did she have to choose Dale to help her out? You know, to try to distract who they thought was a baby at the time? No. You know, did she have to do that? No. And oh, by the way, did you not notice that when he agreed after, you know, she kissed Chip on the cheek for him agreeing with her method to be safer and kinder and all that, and, you know, and Dale was like, hey, yeah, I'm with that too, and he was going to go for it. You know, he's going to go for a kiss as well. Did you not see her, like, her smiling expression, like, oh, you know, her smile get a little wider, like, hey, this is going to be a moment. Like, she was probably looking forward to it. You know, maybe that's just me, but come on, the clues were there. The clues were there. And then if that's not enough, you take a look at Song of the Nightingale, especially the ending when she says, you know, we're the ones that were crazy about you, and she hugs him. I mean, come on. And then Double O Chipmunk, need I say more? Need I say more? And then the little moments here and there, like mind your T's and Q's, when they're both showing up together, you know, after looking around for Monterey, it's like, come on, who wrote that scene in there? Who drew that scene in there, not knowing what they were doing? Huh? And RoboCat, I mean, come on, the you know, the hints, the clues, the Easter eggs, they were all there. They were all there. Even in the comics, to an extent, they were all there. I mean, why do you think in some fanfics later on, and there's one initial fanfic, I can't think of the name right now, and it's done by somebody, but, you know, in this initial fanfic, they have Dale with Gadget, and they have Foxglove with a bat clone version of Dale, or something like that. It's a bat that's cloned from Dale, and, you know, it pretty much is Dale in bat form, so Foxglove goes with him, and, you know, and so on. You know, and they have Chip with LaWhiney, and so on, you know, and stuff like that. But you get the idea of what I'm alluding to, right? The fact is, what I'm alluding to is this fan had Dale with Gadget, because pretty much it's like, come on, these two work good together. These two have a lot in common, more so than you want to imagine. And there are other stories. They're not romance stories, but the little fun and adorable stories. Like this one fanfic where Dale and Gadget are trying to cook something and they make a mess by accident. They have a little fun, and it's like, you could have chose anybody else, but you didn't. You went with those two. Again, it's just, you know, it just blows my mind. It just blows my mind. All the evidence that's there from an official capacity and from a fan perspective, to where everybody pretty much knows that Dale and Gadget was the direction they were going to go in. And you can't tell anybody else otherwise. I mean, it's like a lot of the shows that came before and after that have similar premise. You knew certain characters were going to get together. It's just they kept, the people behind the show would keep subverting your expectations. They would go in this direction, they would go in that direction, they would go here, they would go there. But eventually, if the show lasted long enough, what did they do? They landed exactly where you expected them to. That's what they did. I mean, a good show. A good example of a show that really shows that is the Ever Popular Friends. How many couples out of that initial core group of friends did we not see, did we want to get together? Huh? You know, there's Ross and Rachel. You know, ring a bell? I'm just saying. The point is, they may not come out and say that was the direction they were going in. They may not come out and say, yeah, you're right, we were planning that. But I think they know. I think Tad Stones know. And I think Tad Stones and the people that worked on that show, they know better than anybody exactly what they were doing and what we pretty much figured out was going to be the course of direction, even now as adults. I think they knew it. I mean, why do you think when the Lonely Island Boys did the Rescue Angel movie, that live action satire metaverse version, movie, if you will. The CGI live action one. Why do you think they kept Dale and Gadget's friendship close? Why do you think they did that? Why do you think they kept her supportive in everything? It's because, in a way, I think even those guys at the Lonely Island Boys, that were working on it, I think they knew, as well as anybody else, what Disney was planning. They're like, we need to keep that friendship between the two in there to kind of basically tell people, or at least hint to people, there was going to be something initially in the show. We just never got that. It's just they never got that far. And I think that's why you had, the close friendship between them. And yes, from a, satire, meta joke, metaverse, point of view, they had Gadget end up with Zipper. But the point is, outside of that, they were initially what they did here with the friendship being expanded the way it was their own way of saying, there was going to be something, but Disney just couldn't get to that point. They just didn't have time to do it. And, that's just my opinion. Because they could have had Gadget be close friends with Chip, or they could have had Gadget and Dale be at odds and all that, but no, they didn't. Instead, they made them close. They made her and Zipper supportive, made her supportive. I mean, it's like, it was just so obvious that there was a reason why they did it, why they made that friendship close, even throughout the split of the Rangers, because it's indicated they kept close to each other, even after the show ended, as friends. That her, Zipper, and Dale were always, back and forth, chatting with each other, getting together with each other. It's like you cannot tell me otherwise why they actually did that. And I think they did that, like I said, because it was their way of throwing us a bit of a bone, a bit of a, a bit of an Easter egg that, kind of rolls under the radar, if you will, of saying, Dale and Gadget was the direction that we were going to go in. And this is the best we can do right now, because we can't initially go that route here, because this is not, that kind of Rescue Ranger movie or story. But I firmly believe it. I firmly believe that that's why we had it. We had that friendship stay the way it was. The thing is, guys, in closing, I'm going to say this. Tad Stones can deny it. Anybody else that worked on the show, Mark Mullen, can deny it. But the point, Trish McNeely, Corey Burton, Jim Cummings, they can all deny it all they want. But I think they all knew, and probably were told, but they couldn't say anything because they weren't sure what was going to happen. I think they all knew that Dale and Gadget was the ship, was the romance they were heading towards. I think they did. And I believe and I said this before, numerous times, had the Rescue Ranger movie, happened initially as planned back in the early 90s, following the DuckTales movie as part of the Disney Movie Tunes verse, the Disney Movie Tunes verse, I guarantee you that movie, that original movie that was planned would have had those two together. I just have this feeling. I really do. Because you cannot tell me there aren't moments in the show that indicate that was the direction they were going in. I mean, one moment that I did a clip of, I posted a clip of here on the YT, I dubbed it title-wise in a question. I said, a secret D&G. I basically said, like I said, I titled it in a question where I said, a secret pro D&G moment. That's what that's how I titled it in the form of the question of a secret pro D&G moment, because it's a scene towards the end of the episode of Wolf in Cheap Clothing where Gadget is rewiring the motomizer the metamorphosizer, and she basically says something along. She basically says the line of, actually the electronics were kind of simple, and then as soon as she says that, a spark comes out of the device, and it causes her to jump back. And whose arms does she jump back into? Monterey's? No. Chip's? No. It's Dale's. She jumps into Dale's arms. Now, some have commented that she probably feels more safe and secure. That's fine. That's fine. But others pretty much agree that there was a reason for that. There was a reason for it, but Disney's not going to tell us. Disney's not going to tell us. So, the way I look at it, that was just another clue. And then, like I said, on top of that, you have episodes like Double O Chipmunk, what she did for him there. I mean, you look at, like I said, Song of the Nightingale and the RoboCat, and it's just, so on and so forth. And by the way, the episode, I think it was called The Last Leprechaun or something like that. I gotta go back and look at it. In that episode, when Dale got thrown into the fire pit, because the Banshee mistaked him for the leader of the leprechauns. What happened? What happened after the Rangers tackled the leprechaun on Darby for what he did? Who was standing there with her fist on his shoulders, and you can almost feel the anger coming out of her, more so than anything. Gadget. Gadget was the one. Who's the one that pushed Dale through the wall that Darby put up via magic and everything to try to prevent the Rangers, from leaving, but he couldn't because the magic wasn't strong enough. Who did that? Who pushed Dale through the wall when he was doing a raspberry, towards, or basically pulling a raspberry tongue gag at Darby? Who's the one that pushed him? Gadget. You get what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying? There are moments in this show, 70% to 30% in my opinion, that kind of proves very heavenly that they were going to go with Dale and Gadget. But like I said, we'll never know because, I'm sure the voice actors, the voice cast had a clue. I'm sure Tad Stones, who was behind the show, along with Mark Molan and all them, they had a clue, but they couldn't say. They couldn't say because they never got a chance to get that far. And I think the reason they kept the friendship between the two in the very meta Rescue Ranger movie, the very meta satire Rescue Ranger movie, the reason they kept that friendship close and everything, even after the show, where it's initially, indicated that they kept close after the show, is because of the fact, in my opinion, that was their way of saying, yes, we had something planned, we just couldn't pull the trigger. But hey, it's just my opinion. But what do you all think as we celebrate this 35th anniversary of Rescue Rangers this year, along with all the other multitude of monumental franchise anniversaries we're going to be talking about? What are your thoughts? Do you agree with what I had to say? Did you see a lot of the clues and Easter eggs I was talking about? Let me know down below in the comment section as well as in the live chat during the premiere. Like the video, and until next time, guys, I'm out.